Super J and Mad Mike here at the WrestleKave, bringing to you another cool-ass fucking video. Your number one place for WWE news and reviews, and also Mattel WWE action figure fun and news as well. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but after Smackdown Live tonight, it wasn't a bad show, but it sure wasn't a great show. And after that piss poor Monday Night Raw we had last night, I was a little happy to see a 2-hour show. But we had big stars from Smackdown Live on this August 9th edition of Smackdown Live. We had John Cena, AJ Styles, The Miz, Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, Sin Cara. All these superstars were not seen on Smackdown Live in the ring tonight. None of them wrestled in the ring. You had about half the card there to wrestle tonight on Smackdown Live. From what I understand, even after the draft, from what I understand, some Raw guys are still main eventing in dark main events, which means after SmackDown goes off the air, then Raw superstars come out and have a match. And the same thing's been going on Monday Night Raw. And from what I understand, they had an overseas show tonight, I believe in Asia somewhere. So we didn't have more than half the roster here on SmackDown tonight. Like I said, it wasn't that great of a show. It was fun. It was a 2-hour show, considering that they had, over a little less than half of the roster there, tonight. I thought they did a pretty good show. It flowed well. I wasn't bored at all during the show. To start out the night, you had Bray Wyatt and Eric Rowan come out. Bray Wyatt was talking basically some of his usual crazy shit. This time he was saying that SmackDown is going to be his show, that he deserves a shot at the title. And you had Dean Ambrose come out right after that, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He came out. Dolph Ziggler came out after that. They all got into a scuffle in the ring. Dolph Ziggler ended up super kicking Dean Ambrose right in the face when he was actually going for Bray Wyatt. And we found out later in the evening we would have a tag team main event with Eric Rowan and Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family, against Dolph Ziggler and the WWE Champion Dean Ambrose. We'll get to that later in the evening. But after that, we had a tag team match to start the first match of the evening. And we had American Alpha. They went ahead and fought two nobodies. Again, WWE here in this new era, they're going with local guys in the legendary squash matches that we haven't seen in years. But basically, nobodies from the local independent circuits are getting shots on their shot on WWE television, getting their 5 minutes of fame. And basically, American Alpha, beat these nobodies in about 2 minutes. American Alpha was, showing off like they usually do. But in the middle of it, in the beginning, before the match, we had 3 tag teams come out and basically scout and watch American Alpha. The other 3 tag teams were The Ascension, also the Vaudevillains, and also the Hype Bros, Mojo Rawley, and also Zack Ryder. I'm all excited about the SmackDown division, tag team division, and I'm very excited to see hopefully new tag team champions get crowned for the first time on SmackDown Live here at the first SmackDown Only pay-per-view Backlash in September, a couple weeks right after SummerSlam. SmackDown's first pay-per-view is gonna start off with a bang, and I think we're gonna have new WWE World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions debut that night. And it looks like those are the 4 tag teams that they're going to be showcasing: American Alpha, the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, and also Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder, the Hype Bros. You've also got Breezango, also on SmackDown. They're another tag team that can also be used. Also, the Usos are also a tag team on SmackDown. But from what I understand, one of the Usos is injured right now. We don't know when he's going to return. So we're down 1 tag team on SmackDown. But you've got young tag teams that really, this is their opportunity to shine on SmackDown, and I'm really excited to see where it's going to go. I'm not really too excited about the Monday Night Raw brand's tag team division with the New Day and then Enzo and Cass. Outside of that, there's really no other tag teams on Monday Night Raw. You've got the Golden Truth and you've got the Dudley Boys, and they're well past their prime. So SmackDown, in my opinion, has got the best tag team division right now, and hopefully we see tag team champions crowned in September. But the night continued. We ended up supposed to have a women's matchup, and it was supposed to be Becky Lynch coming out, and it was supposed to be Eva Marie after last week apparently injuring herself before the match even started. She was going to get her chance this week to debut again. She came out with again the big red whole fucking entrance, red everything, and just I mean, she's a decent looking lady, pretty woman, but you know, I don't think she's anything compared to you know other females in the WWE. So that's as far as I'm going to go. But Eva Marie came in, and before the match could even start this time against Becky Lynch, she ended up having a wardrobe malfunction where her you know bra basically came undone around her neck, and they called off the match. And basically, the referee threw a towel on top of Eva Marie, and she walked to the back. Becky Lynch said she was tired of this shit. She said she wanted to have a wrestling match tonight here on Smackdown Live, and that's exactly what she got. Alexa Bliss, the NXT call-up, made her debut in the ring tonight on Smackdown Live, and I was very excited to see it. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with her, but she was a manager of a former NXT tag team called Blake and Murphy, and she then made her way onto the wrestling scene, wrestling as a woman in NXT, and has just gotten really good over the last 6 months to a year. And I'm glad she finally got her shot. She's a sexy little woman. She turned 25 today, as a matter of fact, and she looks like she's hungry, and it looks like she learns quick because she had a decent matchup against Becky Lynch, only about a 5-minute match, but towards the end of the match, Eva Marie's music hit, and she started to get this re-entrance. She got her wardrobe fixed, and right before you know that, Alexa Bliss hit her from behind, and then hit her with this, body splash off the top where she turned herself in mid-air, and it was pretty cool to see. I know she's also got a moonsault that she does. We didn't see that tonight, but, Alexa Bliss ended up getting the win over Becky Lynch. So the women's division is looking pretty good on SmackDown, too. There was another women's matchup that we're going to talk about later in the night, but we'll go ahead and continue on. Next we had, what does it look like? Randy Orton and versus Alberto Del Rio. Randy Orton, a legend, 14-time World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Champion, and Alberto Del Rio, a former World Champion on SmackDown years ago. I mean, a great wrestler, maybe, the greatest, wrestler out of Mexico, since Rey Mysterio, but vastly different superstars. Alberto Del Rio is pretty much a heavyweight. And he had a decent matchup tonight against Randy Orton. It wasn't a long matchup. We didn't get any long matches this week on WWE TV so far. So it doesn't look like we're going to get any good wrestling matches this week. But Randy Orton and Alberto Del Rio ended up fighting. Alberto Del Rio is a guy that can really get, a hold of a decent push, and he can make his way back up to that main event scene. Not necessarily as champion, but a guy that can put guys over and make these younger guys look like $1 million. And Alberto Del Rio, from what I understand, he isn't too happy because him and Paige, the Diva women's wrestler Paige over on Raw, and Alberto Del Rio were having kind of seen each other, and now they split them up in the brand split with the draft. So, they're both not happy. And Alberto Del Rio finally got a shot to get back in the ring tonight. He ended up, hitting Randy Orton in the chair. I'm sorry, in the shoulder, the injured shoulder that Randy Orton got shoulder surgery on. Alberto Del Rio hit him 2 or 3 times with the chair, threw Randy Orton into the ring. Into the ring post, and was giving him a good beatdown, and really, focusing on his injured, body part, his injured shoulder that, kept him out of the ring for almost a year. So, looks like they're trying to get Randy Orton ready for that beating that he's going to get at SummerSlam from the Beast, Brock Lesnar. But anyway, Alberto Del Rio, when he was beating the hell out of Randy Orton on the outside and got disqualified, he then threw Orton back in the ring, and when Alberto Del Rio ended up bringing a chair into the ring, there was an RKO out of nowhere, and it dropped Alberto Del Rio right inside the middle of the ring. And it just proves that all it takes is one RKO from Randy Orton, and anything can change. I don't think he's necessarily going to beat Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I don't think he's the guy to do it, but, Randy Orton, like I said, a legend in the business, future Hall of Famer. Glad to have him on SmackDown, and I'm glad to still see him on the TV after almost a year. Tell me what you guys think about that matchup coming up at SummerSlam. Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar. Who do you got? Are you going to pick the blue brand and Randy Orton, or are you going with Monday Night Raw and the Beast, Brock Lesnar? I don't know. I'm on the fence, but I'll give you a prediction when we do a prediction video here before next Sunday. Super J and Mad Mike. But let me see what happened here. Backstage, we ended up having a hilarious promo where Heath Slater, encountered Rhino backstage, and Heath Slater had his sunglasses on, ended up taking his hat off. He wanted to get man-to-man with Rhino, and he said, he doesn't want to do this, but he's looking, for Rhino to give him some help, because Heath Slater's got 2 kids, and he's got a pool that he just, bought, and he's got to pay for, and he needs this job on SmackDown. And, if anybody's a parent out there, you understand that, you feel bad, for any parent, and, losing a job or trying to find one or anything like that. I'm a parent myself. I'm disabled, but, it just breaks my heart, but it was a hilarious promo. And then Rhino he said no, he's running for Senate, seat in the Senate in Michigan, and he's got constituents that he's got to make happy and he's got to impress, so he can't do it with Heath Slater. So then he asked Heath Slater, how many kids was that again that you got? And Heath Slater said 4. He said something like 4 kids, and then Rhino's like, I thought you had 2. And then Heath Slater's like, I meant 4. I meant 4. But Rhino ended up asking him what kind of pool did he buy? Was it an in-ground or was it overground pool? And Heath Slater ended up saying it was an overground pool, and it was just a funny little backstage segment. And Rhino said he can't help him out at all. And then the match would happen later in the night. Rhino versus Heath Slater. If Heath Slater wins the matchup, he's a member of SmackDown. So, they've been doing this funny little promo on Raw and SmackDown with Heath Slater over the last 2 weeks. And it's been pretty funny. I've even seen that he's actually been trying to negotiate with some independent circuits, and WWE's working some way to make that, part of the funny promo. But, after that, we ended up getting another promo, and it showed earlier today that The Miz and Maurice were on top of that table where all the pre-show panel gets before all the pay-per-views and before the SmackDowns and Raws. They're backstage. They've got the big table that goes around. 4 guys can sit there. Maurice and The Miz were sitting there, and The Miz was just telling him how much he loves Maurice, and Maurice was just going on about how great a husband he is. Just a waste of a couple minutes. The Miz and Apollo Crews were not there to wrestle in the ring tonight. And, Apollo Crews, if they want to give this guy a big push, man, they got to put him on the fucking TV and let us see him wrestle. You know what I mean? They've got to put these guys on TV. After they get done with this little bullshit of, still guys are still, advertised to appear at this show next week, so we've got to put the Raw guy on SmackDown, but we can't have these SmackDown guys here. It's all too fucking confusing. It's like trying to read a woman's mind. You don't know what the fuck's going on, I don't know what to say. Just confused, After that, you know what I mean, like I said, just a waste of a couple fucking minutes, if you ask me. Next, after that, Carmella ended up coming out. And Carmella, man, if you haven't seen her, she's one sexy woman. Okay, she came up from NXT in the draft. She finally got her first debut matchup tonight. She got attacked by Natalya last week. Didn't get to have her first match. From what I understand, the rumor is that Carmella is dating Big Cass on Monday Night Raw, part of Enzo and Big Cass. So I'm kind of confused why they split those two up. But maybe there's something, more to read into it, or maybe not, But anyway, Carmella, she's one sexy female, man. That's all I can fucking say, okay? And she can wrestle not bad either. Both these girls that debuted today, Alexa Bliss and Carmella, both put on good performances. Maybe not, eye-dropping maneuvers like the girls on Raw from Sasha and Charlotte. But, man, these girls made the girls they wrestled, Becky Lynch, and then, Alexa Bliss made Becky Lynch look like $1 million tonight. And then also, Carmella made her opponent, Natalya, tonight look like $1 million too. I mean, Natalya looked like she belongs in the women's division. And on SmackDown, I'm glad to see it. And then, anyway, Carmella ended up getting the win with this cool leg scissors where she pulled her leg back, and I can't even fucking do it. I had back surgery. I can't even reach that far, okay? And I don't know how she did it, but, women are obviously more flexible than men. But, what can I say? Carmella ended up getting a victory on her first match on SmackDown. I'm happy to see her. I know a lot of guys are going to be happy to see her every week on SmackDown Live. You know what I mean? After that, we ended up getting a video package with AJ Styles, the Phenomenal One, and then also the franchise, the face that runs the place, John Cena, for their matchup at SummerSlam when they face off against one another. And like I said, Cena and Styles were not on the show tonight in any wrestling capacity on the show, but they did a nice video promo getting you hyped up for Styles and Cena at SummerSlam. From what I understand, after SummerSlam, sometime over the next month, John Cena's going to be taking a little time off and be filming another season of the show that he was doing and a few other things. John Cena, is going to become a part-time guy now. And I'm sorry to say that to any Cena fans out there, but that's what I think it is. Cena's had a neck surgery back in 2008, and his body's breaking down, and he's had a few surgeries over the last couple of years, and it's his time to find a life after wrestling and come back as a part-time guy, wrestle at WrestleMania, the big pay-per-views of the year, come on SmackDown, give him a little press, and then go on his merry way. But your days of John Cena as a full-time wrestler and WWE World Champion, running the world 300 days a year, I'm afraid is over. But we after that we did get a quick backstage segment with Baron Corbin beating the shit out of Kalisto, man. Baron Corbin, the big red wolf over on SmackDown, man. Beat the shit out of Kalisto in some corner, some locker room, and it lasted maybe 15, 20 seconds. But Baron Corbin, was getting some good kicks in. He's 6'9", 250 pounds on a guy that's 5'3" or 4" and 140 pounds. So Baron Corbin kicked his ass, and Baron Corbin said the reason he kicked his ass is because Kalisto cost him the Intercontinental Championship in the Intercontinental Championship #1 contenders match last week when Apollo Crews beat both of them. Anyway, after that little pissy segment, they had to do something with Baron Corbin and also Kalisto not on the show tonight, so that's what the fuck we got. I wasn't happy with it, but it's what it was, right? After that, we ended up getting a funny backstage promo with Shane and Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan was talking about Heath Slater. He's got to. I'm sorry. First up, the matchup happened between Rhino and then Heath Slater. And Heath Slater, man, he just, this facial expressions that he's giving you guys in his last couple weeks on TV, he looks like he's putting his emotion into this. He's making it believable. So, I'm kind of getting a little bit behind Heath Slater a little bit. I want him to get signed to SmackDown. I don't want him to get put on Raw because I want him to get somewhat of a chance. You know what I mean? The guy's been in the company now for, 5-6 years, ever since the Nexus started, back when, the first Nexus started back in the summer of 2010. So Rhino ended up beating Heath Slater with a gore, and then you had Heath Slater over in the corner, man, and he just looked like, like he lost the World Series, man. Game 7, bottom of the ninth, lost the fucking World Series, man, after he was up by 2 runs. That's what it looked like. The Heath Slater free agency continues. And then they had a funny backstage segment with Shane McMahon, and the general manager, Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan was talking about, that's heart, man, and heart and determination. I can respect that. And he said, that's the kind of guy that we want here on the SmackDown Live brand. And Shane said, are you sure about that? And then, they showed they had a contract ready. And then all of a sudden you hear Heath Slater coming in bitching, and he's bitching about, this is bullshit. He's one of the hottest guys out there, and he should be on the SmackDown Live brand, and they're missing out, and screw them. And then right when he left, turned around and walked out, you saw Shane and Daniel Bryan close up that contract. So, the saga continues for Heath Slater. But anyway, the match with Rhino and Heath Slater was nothing special. But Rhino did give Heath Slater a pretty good spear at the end, the gore, and it was a funny segment and matchup between Heath Slater and also Rhino. So I really can't complain tonight as far as that goes. Anyway, the tag team main event was closed out the show with Dolph Ziggler and then Dean Ambrose, your WWE champion. They're both fighting against each other at SummerSlam for the title, and then they teamed up tonight and they faced Eric Rowan and then also Bray Wyatt. And it was a decent match, by far the longest match of the night. The Wyatts, looked, like their usual selves. Bray Wyatt, was hitting all his notes in the ring. Eric Rowan, nothing special, but, he's definitely a big guy that could kick some ass. So I don't want him to go anywhere other than on the side of Bray Wyatt with that sheep's mask, okay? They took away Braun Strowman, but they can't take away Eric Rowan from Bray Wyatt. That's as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, it was a good match. You guys should watch it. If you saw it, tell us what you think. Anyway, Dolph Ziggler ended up winning after he got a super kick on Eric Rowan at the end of the night. And then Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler started to celebrate. And right before it went off, SmackDown Live went off the air, Dean Ambrose turned over to Dolph Ziggler and kicked him in the stomach and hit him with that Dirty Deeds, that double arm DDT, to end the show. So, like I said, Dean Ambrose, man, walking around like $1 million on SmackDown. Ever since he won that title at Money in the Bank, a guy that I thought would never hold the WWE World Heavyweight title, so I was obviously mistaken, and I'll admit it. But ever since he won the title, he's had that different swagger, man, walking around with that title, and it looks like they might keep it around him for a little bit. Bray Wyatt is a guy that I think that can fight for the title against Dean Ambrose after SummerSlam, maybe at Backlash, or even a guy like AJ Styles. But Dean Ambrose is definitely, talking the talk and walking the walk right now. But he's got, some vultures that are ready to pounce and to, feast their eyes on the WWE Championship that Dean Ambrose holds right now. So we're going into SummerSlam. We've got some really cool matchups going on for SmackDown brand and also the Raw brand. You even got the inter-brand matchup between the Brock Lesnar, the Beast, and then also Randy Orton. So it should be one hell of a SummerSlam. Like I said, the summer's heating up. Check out the WrestleKave. We got a lot of cool videos on the WrestleKave. Super J and Mad Mike are always here. We do, like I said, do reviews on Raws and SmackDowns, also pay-per-views, also bringing you WWE news and WWE and Mattel action figure fun. So, this is the #1 place to go. We appreciate you guys watching our videos. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you guys think of the review tonight, and tell us what you think of the show. And who won this week, Raw or SmackDown? On week 3 of the new era. I've got to say, I think SmackDown won the overall, had the best show of the week. I think SmackDown Live beat Raw. Tell me what you think. That's Super J's opinion. Mad Mike behind the camera. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.